ArtAgnos San Francisco Waterfront Alliance.
Okay, thank you very much, John. I'm delighted to be here, and I salute you for what you're doing. I think this is an extremely important issue, and I'm glad you're interested enough because I think it really affects all of us in San Francisco, not just the waterfront. I also commend you on the food. It's the best I've seen, and about 70 of these all over the city, and so I'm delighted to contribute. But make sure those Warrior people give you a lot of money because they're all here highly paid over there. Yep. Making big bucks. But I'm not. I am not paid. I am volunteer. I don't live on the waterfront. I live on Potrero Hill. And I'm doing this as a volunteer because I care about this city. I care about who's going to manage this city, who's going to control public land. Because everything I'm going to talk about here in this project today is publicly owned land. That means all of us who live in the city own this land and should have a say in what goes there. Because I don't like what's being proposed to go there on this land that we own on our port land or the waterfront. That's what the issue's about. It's not about that specific neighborhood, it's about our entire city and having a say in the decisions that impact our land in our city. But some of you can't see behind that thing. Can you see my pictures up here? What the issue at hand is that the Golden State Warriors want to build a basketball arena, a 500-car garage, a 92,000 square foot shopping center on and in the water on our waterfront right across from Delancey Street, those of you who know that particular part of the city. And then across the street on more publicly owned land, which is called the Seawall Lot, 330, they want to build $5 to $10 million condos, approximately today's prices, probably more by the time they get built, a luxury hotel, and more shopping area on land that we own. On land that we own that I think can be used for affordable housing that we need desperately in this city. We've done it before, and I'll tell you a little bit about that as I go along. In that part of the city, Delancey Street is for some 450 to 500 recovering drug addicts, various kinds of issues who are doing a spectacular job taking care of their own lives. And then we also have around there low-income housing at Steamboat Point. We have right on the water, low-income housing, the same kind of housing that is called public housing elsewhere in the city. Steamboat Point, about 115, 120 units, I believe, for low-income people, like those, as I said, in public housing. We also have higher-end housing that have to have affordable housing on site in the units. That's what I think ought to be going there. But here's what the mayor, Port Commission, the Warriors want to do. This is Pier 3032. It's where the America's Cup headquarters was for their Oracle ships. It is a pier that needs to be upgraded in the next 10 years. It still is serviceable. If we go out there now, you'll find cars parked all over it, and various events will be held this summer. But there is this claim that it is falling down and falling apart and somehow needs to be fixed up, and so this is the place they want to put an arena and the other things I've talked about. So this is the site as we see it today. What is being proposed for the water side, just over the water, is they want to build a new pier, a concrete pier, a pier that will go 60 feet to get to the bottom of the bay, and then further down, these kind of columns that you see holding up the freeways around our city that will put some tons of concrete into the bay to hold up a large concrete pad that is specially reinforced in order to hold this. This is a 12-story basketball entertainment arena that will go on the water on the pad. It will hold about 18,000 people. Next to that will be a 500-car garage, not for the public, but for the exclusive use of the Warriors and their VIPs and their luxury box holders, right here, 500 cars. And here will go approximately 92,000 square feet of shopping center. Now these numbers are not hard. They're a little soft because the Warriors keep changing their plans as fast as the score in an overtime playoff game. They're now in their third version. So this is a little dated. They put some new bells and whistles since we've been raising these questions. They've shaved this a little bit more. They put a couple of open green spaces. So they say we have 7 acres of green space. Sort of in alleyways, rooftops, you know, the kinds of things that you piece together like a patchwork puzzle in order to create an open space. And that's around here. I don't know how you put something this massive on a pier and still have 7 acres. The whole site is 13.2 acres. Give you an idea how big 13 acres are, this whole concrete thing. If you go to Union Square, right over here, this project will be 5 times larger than Union Square. That's how big the pier
Size of
will
AT&T Park, basically.
I'm sorry?
Size of AT&T Park.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Size of AT&T Park.
The height.
No, I'm talking about the third.
Oh no, this will be smaller than AT&T Park because that holds 42,000 people. This will hold 18 indoors.
I figured a basketball court, arena be more white space.
Not quite as big. Not as big as I'd like to make it that big. No, this is 12 stories, and it'll hold 18,000 people. As I said, 500-car garage and 92,000 square feet, all on a concrete pad over the water. See what it looks like now? This is what they want to put here. That's part of the project. Then across the street, also on public land, they want to put 17-story high-rise condominium, higher than the current law allows. That will be a luxury high-rise. That's where the money comes from. They've got to get the money from selling these at approximately $5 to $10 million a piece in order to pay for all of this. And then next to that will come 2 luxury hotels. I'm sorry, 2 towers that are luxury high-rise hotels. And then in between, there will be 25,000 square feet more of shopping center. Now, give you an idea of how big the shopping center will be. 92 plus 25 is close to 120. It might get shaved, as I said. The numbers are not hard because they keep changing their plans. They're now in their third version of the plan, and yet when I finish, you'll know more than the Board of Supervisors does because they have not seen this. They have not seen anything in paper. What we've seen are a lot of press releases and glorified photos in the paper that are the Warriors' propaganda materials. But to give you an idea of how big this shopping area is, if you go to the Ferry Building today, from one end to the other, side to side on the ground floor, that's only 62,000 square feet. So this will be over 30–40% bigger than that in terms of space. This is designed, people say, for basketball. They're only going to play 41 basketball games a year. In order to make money, they have to have at least somewhere between 210, 220. The numbers, as I said again, are a little soft. But the Warriors say somewhere in the vicinity of 210, 215, maybe as high as 220 events a year, day or night. So it's not 41 basketball games, it's 210 events a year, day or night. This thing holds 18,000 people. The Warriors say that they have to get this to make it pay. That's about 2.2 million people a year going to this facility. 4/10 of a mile down the road is the Giants Stadium. They draw 42,000 people on a sellout, which is what they get, and that's about 3.5 million people a year. So we have a total of about 5.8 million people a year going to this neighborhood, which today is the densest neighborhood in the city. It's brand new, relatively. Mike, what do you know? What's better?
Is that 3.5 million people from San Francisco? Is that?
Oh, no. That's Bay Area, Greater Bay Area, let's say. Maybe further. But they would also have entertainment there, like concerts, like auto shows, conventions, anything that can fill that facility 210 to 220 times a year.
Do you know the estimated revenue the city will be is projected to receive from this?
No, nobody really does. They just tell us what the propaganda is, and they say we might get some tax money from sales taxes of tickets and whatever comes from people who go to a restaurant or to the buy stuff in the retail. Wait a minute, guys. The rules say I finished, then you ask questions. So, I wish I had those rules.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry for starting that.
I wish I had
Does
those
anybody
rules.
need paper to write down their questions later?
I wish I had those rules when I was in City Hall. It would have been helpful. So anyways, especially the one about name calling. So we're talking about close to 6 million people a year coming here. How are they going to get there? There's no parking. The garage that's going to be right here is for private use of the Warriors and their luxury boxes and VIPs. Public transit. We have public transit there, but it is woefully inadequate, so bad in terms of getting people during game days just for the Giants today, this season, as they have for past seasons. What we do in this city is we kick people off the Muni, the N Judah that goes out to the beach. We take the empty cars, bring them to Market Street so we can fill them with fans going to the baseball game. That's today, because we don't have good enough beauty and enough capacity to take the fans. So we kick San Franciscans off, bring the empty cars, and take them to the ball. We're going to add another 18,000 people 220 times a year for this. We also are told in this city today that we are underfunded for the rest of the city by almost $1 billion to get Muni cars, tracks, and all that. This will add even more demand on that, and it's a bad deal for the city because we're going to have to pay for it. So how is this going to get funded? The Warriors say that this is privately funded. I say that's a lot of propaganda. In order for the city to build the pier that has to hold all of this stuff up, it's going to cost us $120 million. It's going to cost the Warriors somewhere around $80 million for a total today, and the number is changing as they learn more and more about what is required to build a concrete platform in the water. They are learning it's going up and up and up because the engineering is so complex and the costs are so uncertain. If you don't believe me, take a look at the bridge. We've been building bridges in this city, in this country for 100 years, and we still can't get the Bay Bridge right. We got leaks, we got bolts that are falling apart. What's going to happen with this first-of-a-kind pier that's going to hold up this kind of a project? Never mind earthquakes, where we saw freeways come down. They tell us this one will be earthquake-proof.
Right.
Y'all believe that one? So it's going to cost today about $200 million. We, as a city, have to pay $120. We don't have it. court doesn't have it, city doesn't have it. Where are we gonna get it? We're gonna borrow it from the Warriors. And here's how we're gonna pay it back. We're gonna sell them a piece of land here, which is a publicly owned piece, Seawall Lot 330, for approximately $30 million. That price has already been set. It was set a couple of years ago by an appraiser who didn't appraise for the extra height that they are seeking. So they got a cheap deal on that, $30 million towards repaying $120 that we're going to borrow from them up front. Secondly, we're going to create value if this is built, and that usually that extra value, tax money, goes to the city to run police, fire, health, muni, etc. In this case, it's going to go to pay the loan back. And then finally, the Warriors are going to be here for free rent for 30 years. All of that adds up to $120 million, without counting the interest, which is being debated right now. Initially, the first deal, and it's still the only official deal, is 13% interest. Now, you can get a better rate borrowing money at the corner of payday store. But the city's going to pay 13% in the first deal. Now, they say they've changed it, but we haven't seen any official documents indicating that, so it's to be determined. But we've raised so much hell over that, it probably will change. But the bottom line is, if they want to build a structure for themselves, then they ought to pay for that structure. The city should not be paying. We've got other needs to put that money to use for. And in my case, and I'm going to end here and then take your questions. In my case, all of this public land should go to build affordable and middle-class housing like we have done elsewhere in that same neighborhood. I don't worry about people who can afford $5 to $10 million condominiums. I don't worry about it. So here's the project that I'm talking about, which is right here, the high rise. That's the roof of the retail. And here's some of the alleyways they're gonna have open space. And here's the two towers for the hotel, and this is the shopping area. Warriors tell us they're gonna bring us jobs, so does the mayor. Two types of jobs. One is construction jobs for building all of this. Does anybody know an unemployed construction worker in this city? 10, 15 years going on. Look at all the cranes and derrick, and there's more in the pipeline like the Transbay Terminal. And a huge, 75 stories are going to put there. So unemployment is not a problem for the building trades in this city today and for the even foreseeable or distant future. Second item that they say will bring us a job are retail jobs, people who work in shopping centers as clerks, and people who work in the arena taking tickets and selling team sports paraphernalia and all that. Usually minimum wage or a little bit better. Those kinds of jobs don't support anybody living in this city. They have to commute in from other parts of the Bay Area where there's affordable housing to rent and hopefully for them to buy if they're so inclined. So those jobs don't mean a lot in terms of the value that we need for San Francisco. I think that's enough. I'll take questions and hopefully answer.
We'll start out with you, Jane.
Maybe more information. Do you want to call on them? Shall I call on them?
I'll call them out because then I'll be able to say last question.
Okay, cool.
And good evening, Mr. Mayor. Could you talk about the difference from when the Giants built theirs and what was going on with that
Yep.
compared to now?
Yep. Okay. 1988, a golden era started in San Francisco. I became mayor. It's something.
It's not on Miano, sorry.
In 1988, one of the first crises that I faced was that the Giants were going to leave if they didn't get a new ballpark. So I went to see Bob Lurie, and I told him that I had a place, and I took him to where the Willie Mays statue is today. We stood right on that corner, and I said, this is where we're gonna put the ballpark. And then there were railroad tracks going through there, abandoned warehouses. It was a kind of a dead-end neighborhood in San Francisco, that whole area. A lot of state buildings that were not used, as I said, abandoned warehouses. So he liked it, and we started. And then in 1989, it was put on the ballot, and we lost by 1%. Because it was about 10 days after the earthquake, and everybody was kind of upset and wanted to use money that might have gone for the improvements over here. They wanted to use it to repair the city, even though it was federal money. So that was the site on land that we chose for the ballpark. It's not on water, it's on land, where it is today. And as a matter of fact, you haven't asked me the question, but on Lot A, which is on the other side in Willoughby Covey Cove, I was going to put a basketball arena for the Warriors. So this is not about being an anti-basketball fan or an anti-Warriors. It is about being pro-San Franciscan and how we use our public land.
No, my question is, Mr. Mayor, is with that Warrior Stadium, the cost of it, and we're getting shafted in a sense in the jobs and stuff that probably won't be except the low-end jobs.
Yeah. The Giants pay for it all themselves.
They pay for it all
We didn't put any money into it.
So they're not willing to pay
And
for it all themselves?
no, they've been paying rent. The Giants started paying rent the first day they opened the ballpark. These guys are not gonna pay any rent because we're gonna have to pay back some of that money for the $120 million we're gonna borrow from.
Okay.
But the difference between the Giants and this proposal is, one, it's on land. Two, the Giants pay for it all. We made some improvements around Muni and stuff. Come on, Patrick, this is my time. And then it wasn't a neighborhood. Nothing existed. Okay. He's last because he's a plant.
He's number 3.
Yeah, he's last. And so is she. They're paid.
I'm glad to know that.
Or she is. You're paid to be here. I got it. I hope you're paying me a lot.
So Eli,
My question, sir, is, has there been an environmental study or impact upon the area for which the arena will be built in the condo? Because it is waterfront property, it's sensitive, because there was a major environmental necessity when Treasure Island was being built, because people were concerned as well.
Yep. Good question, and it's going on now. It's underway, and as they do the environmental impact study, they have to look at 2 other sites. One of them is Lot A, the Giants ballpark, Giants parking lot, and the other one is, I think, the Salesforce further in Mission Bay. So they're looking at 2 other sites, technically.
I mean, it would technically make more sense for the city if it's actually sports teams actually built on Lot A, or they actually combine the stadium to like the hockey stadium as well.
Does.
Unfortunately, the goals are no longer here.
So you're on my side.
You'll be after Patrick, so.
My question is, how come we have to borrow money from a team that wants something on our land?
That's a good question. Because I think, this is my personal opinion, I think the mayor is dazzled, starstruck by the Warriors. It'd be very seductive. I've been there. And I've been romanced by football teams and basketball teams and baseball teams, and it's very to go up to these guys that you used to watch growing up. I think the mayor's a little starstruck, and he's giving them what they want. I think it's a mistake.
One more question.
By the way, I've asked to debate the mayor. Anywhere, anytime, any place. And he has refused because he thinks all I'm trying to do is get publicity. And he's right. I am trying to get publicity because I think the people of this city have to know what this thing means so they can make an informed choice about how we use public land.
Another thing I disagree with the fact that they would want to use our land without getting the people permission.
Well, you're gonna have an opportunity to do that.
And I also think that that is wrong for the city and the mayor himself, because I feel it's more behind this than just start structureless. I think there's more things behind that.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
And I'm not afraid to say it. So I think if they want to get this thing passed, they have to come to the voters. And the voters have to approve, not the city council, not the mayor, but the city.
I'm gonna tell you, last answer, last part, you will have a chance to vote on it. There's going to be a ballot measure, which, the organization I'm allied with is not supporting, is not involved with, but I am as a former mayor, and that is Proposition B, which says that any place on the waterfront that a developer seeks to go above the height limit, it has to go to a vote of the people. And so clearly, that's gonna be in June, it's Proposition B. So if the Warriors wanna go this high and this high on the waterfront, they're gonna have to come to you for a vote to get approved.
And that's B.
That's B.